All right, we got our next one, and we got wow, I got to mention Chris, the big man sponsor of the day, W&W Glass. So, Chris, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Appreciate it.
So we're coming from New York, where I'd say W&W does work nationwide, but this is really your core and your hub.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do majority of our work here as a union glazing contractor, and we have also another business where we're providing structural glass systems throughout the country as well.
So it's good timing because we actually just had a clip with Jeff on talking and reflecting. That was a couple of years back, but what I like is so much of that stuff is still applicable today. And the clip or the theme was how you guys do very much so kind of the cream of the crop, upper echelon, something custom, something unique, something somebody else doesn't want to take on. And what comes along with that is a lot of times you're experimenting with new means of materials, pushing the envelope or limit with systems. I can't speak of the project, but somebody's doing some R&D about a means of push and pull testing to assess the structure to try to install something new. So I would think what comes along with that is, a lot of lessons learned that you need to carry forward into future projects. I guess how, as an organization, is that information really shared within? Do you guys do any means and methods of case studies, reflecting back on what's gone right, what's gone wrong to carry a lot of these principles forward into future projects?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, I mean, obviously as a glazier here, we're doing all kinds of testing, whether it be on site. We have a huge mock-up rig at the back behind our facility up in Nanuet, about 20 miles up the road. And we also do a lot of lab testing, a lot of times in York, Pennsylvania, doing huge large-scale mock-ups there, whether it be unitized curtain wall, structural glass systems, things like that. We take all that and we kind of share it amongst our organization, but we also do some case study work as well to try and share this with the architectural and construction community. There's a lot of things that we're doing that are very unique. I think we get that opportunity here in New York that sometimes other folks may not get throughout the country, and we certainly like to share that through videos and case studies, so that way, maybe it'll spur on some creativity with some other architects and maybe other glazing contractors throughout the community to try and achieve those types of feats and come up with some custom engineering to be able to attain those types of projects.
So because of the complexity or scope of work that you take on, you have to work with suppliers from all over the world. And what comes along with that is maybe working with suppliers you haven't worked with in the past, or, taking on for the first time. So what are some protocols or processes you put in place from a QA/QC standpoint, whether it's oversight or monitoring in their shop before it comes here and before that shipment happens? I'd imagine there's high risk getting a shipment of new glass or oversized glass to find out you have issues with your PIB, your secondary sealant, or cracks or chips, etc. So is that kind of a standard process to have people visually in these plants as part of the process during procurement?
Absolutely. Any newer vendor we would vet out, certainly make sure that they were a financially solid company, but also from a quality standpoint, we have boots on the ground that will be in there, whether it's W&W or external consultants that will be in their plant in addition to W&W folks. We would never let any fabricated material come over from a newer vendor, especially without getting some eyes on it to make sure that it's the right standard and quality level. So we kind of go through the same process on every project. If it's a newer vendor, certainly we generally work off of a lot of long-term relationships. We work with some of the highest quality vendors in the world, and we're comfortable in saying that. We try to kind of stick to what we know and who we know when we can, but certainly there are newer folks that are putting in some new equipment that produces some larger capacity and capabilities. So we're happy to look at them and take a look and see if we can work with them, but we will certainly go through a QA/QC process with them, and we will want to be there to meet with them and see their processes on site for sure before any of that material would ever come over. A lot of that also happens in the mock-up phases of a lot of the larger projects as well, to try and work out any bugs and let the architects come and take a look at that product, whether it be over there or on the mock-up over here.
Well, I guess because you work on such custom focused or oriented work, you have the luxury, I would say, maybe you wouldn't agree, but I'd say the luxury that for the most part, all your projects probably do have that VMU and PMU process built in. Is it a rarity for you to not experienced that on a project?
It just depends on the size of the project and the owner's desires and the consultant and things like that on it. I'd say on the structural glass end, there's less of a chance to have a mock-up, because unless it's a very, very large custom podium type project, other parts of the country, they may just say, okay, if your testing's good, we're going to go ahead and move forward with that system, because we reviewed the testing and are happy with the sizes and capabilities and requirements from that test to be applicable to our project. But for certainly in the unitized curtain wall world, more often than not, you're doing a VMU and a PMU on almost all of those projects to assure that the owner is getting what they're expecting.
Well, I think it's important also to say, just because you do that PMU and you have that piece of paper that says it passed, doesn't mean you're not going to come up with surprises in the field.
Sure.
So it's equally important, I'd say, to have oversight and just visibility in terms of coming up with atypical conditions, or, getting everybody on the same page about that first install.
Sure. And one thing to note is you're not going to be able to mock up every single condition on a job site, right? So, you never know what the folks before you, we're the prima donnas in the industry. It's the glazing contractors. So we come last. We expect everything to be set a certain way. But when it's not, we figure out ways and solutions to come up with to be able to work with those conditions and adjust our anchorage or adjust our system to be able to accommodate that on the project and make sure that they're still going to get the same high quality level they're expecting.
So yeah, I think an important point is you need that high level of service up front, but equally throughout the project to make sure everything goes smooth.
Absolutely.
So Chris, thanks for coming on, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.